Sarah and welcome back to my channel. I am here to talk to you today about my top tips for cruising with a toddler. We have just come back from a Royal Caribbean cruise around the Mediterranean. Having done that, I thought I would share with you my tips for cruising with a toddler. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is what to pack when cruising with a toddler. I packed a lot of stuff. I'll insert a picture of everything before I packed it all into my case, but there was a lot. As we boarded our boat at Southampton, there was no luggage allowance, so I took full advantage of this, and I think we took 6 cases in all. And just having all our bits and pieces with us and all the toddler paraphernalia that we use day to day, it just meant that our holiday went really smoothly and we didn't have to worry about everything because we had it all with us. So the first thing I would recommend is to take 2 outfits per day. I took a day outfit and a evening outfit for every night we were there on our cruise. So we were there for 14, it's a 2-week cruise, we were there for 14 days and 14 nights, so I took 14 outfits. Well, 28 outfits. And I also took a few extra ones just in case we had any accidents or anything on a day. What we didn't do was take any really posh outfits. They have formal nights on board cruises. I think most cruises do this. We were told that the dress code for our cruise was smart casual, so we just took sort of smart casual clothes. But on the formal nights, there'll only be a couple of them whilst you're on board your cruise, but like your fellow guests will really go to town. I'm talking like floor length sequin gowns for the ladies, tuxes for the men. Even all the little kids were dressed up too. So I think if I went again on a cruise, I'd make sure that I took like some really nice posh sort of prom style dresses for Rosalie to wear, because we don't get much call for it day to day, and I think it's just a really lovely thing to do to dress up all together as a family. And they also take photos of you every formal night. Well, most nights they take photos of everyone. But photographers on board the boat will take pictures of you, so it's nice for you to get some nice photographs of you as a family. Number 2, I would also recommend taking 3 or 4 swimsuits, and I would also advise you to take a long sleeved sort of all-in-one sunsuit, like with full length trousers and full arms, just in case, so you don't have to worry about putting sunscreen on everywhere all over your toddler, and they can just sort of put the sunsuit on and run away and play and splash around in the water. Shoes, I would recommend taking at least 1 pair of trainers, 1 pair of sandals, 1 pair of dressier shoes for the evening, and a pair of Crocs. Your toddler will wear Crocs everywhere. I took way more than this, so I'm not going to judge you if you want to take more. There's no baggage allowance after all. Large and small Ziploc bags. These will come in so handy for putting everything in, for putting in little bits in your bag when you're out and about, for putting dirty cutlery in after you've used it. There are so many uses. They also help you keep all your luggage organised. If you've got sort of like bows or little hair clips, things like that, you can separate it all out. These were just sort of invaluable whilst we were away. I always take, whenever I go away, I take pillowcases, empty pillowcases to put my dirty laundry in, so that it's sorted before I get home, and all I need to do is empty a pillowcase and put that straight in the washing machine. So I took 3 empty pillowcases away with us, so I could sort out Rosalie's clothes and then light and dark, because that's how I do the washing at home. And we also had a laundry suitcase that as soon as we'd finished with clothes, we put them in the pillowcase and then in a suitcase away under our bed, so they were out of the way. On board the boat, they do have a laundry service, so if you don't want to have a mounting of washing to conquer when you get home, you can arrange for your washing to be cleaned whilst you're on board the boat. We didn't do this, but when I came home and had that much washing to do, I wish I had. Medicines. I took every lotion and potion you could think of away with me. I didn't use any of it, but I would still recommend taking it on holiday with you, because you never know what might happen, and at least you have all the medicines and things you need with you if your toddler was to fall ill. I did also take anti-sickness tablets, because obviously we'd never been on a cruise before. I didn't know how Nick or Rosalie or any of us, how we would deal with being on a boat, whether we'd suffer from seasickness. We didn't, and we didn't use the seasickness tablets, but I had them there just in case. I did hear that you can get them from the ship's doctor anyway if you don't take them on holiday, but as I say, we didn't need them anyway, so it wasn't a problem. Baby toiletries, baby shampoo, baby body wash, all those things that you use at home, toothpaste, toothbrush, just make sure you take those so you can do all the same things you do at home whilst you're on board the ship. Snacks, I would recommend taking some snacks away with you. There will be so much food on the boat, but we took like crisps, packets of crisps, they don't have those. I took packets of raisins just because they're small, easy, and they don't make a mess, so we like to take those out with us. And I also took a couple of packs of fruit pouches to give Rosalie for when we were out and about on our port days and on the go, because they're just really easy and she can sort of suck them from the packet. You don't need any cutlery and it's just nice and easy. A small lunchbox, I would really recommend taking one of these. We didn't take one, but our friends that we met on board the ship did, and it was like brilliant. Like you could put in bagels. I used to make little sandwiches for Rosalie and put them in, we used to carry them in carrier bags, but they put them in their little box, and it just meant that like any food that you took with you didn't get squashed, and that your toddler could snack throughout the day. Obviously all food on board the boat is free, so you can take as much as you like. There's fruit, yogurt, lots of things that you could get at breakfast to take with you on your day trips. So I definitely recommend taking a little lunchbox to put those bits in. Take an iPad on holiday with you, but make sure that you download any films or games to the iPad before you go away. We did have Wi-Fi on board the ship, and we did think we'd just be able to watch Peppa Pig, but actually the Wi-Fi wasn't good enough to stream things. So luckily we had downloaded some apps before we go, and Rosalie was quite happy playing Peppa's Paint Box, which is a really good app if you want to keep your toddler entertained. And that's one we recommend. So we did have apps on board, but we had planned to stream things, and really the Wi-Fi isn't good enough, so make sure you download any episodes or any films before you go so that your toddler can watch them while you're on the ship. Toys. I took quite a few toys for Rosalie to play with. I would definitely recommend taking some water toys, sort of like a bucket and spade, or a watering can that your toddler can play with when you go to the beach or when you're by the pool. We had a little watering can, and Rosalie absolutely loved it and would play by the pool for hours with a little watering can, just pouring water in and out. I also took little toys that she could take to dinner to keep her occupied there. Other families did have the iPad that they took to dinner, but we didn't do that just because she doesn't do it at home, and we didn't want to sort of start bad habits. But we did take a few little toys. I took some pencils and some drawing so she could do some colouring while we were waiting for our food. I also took Play-Doh for her to play with during the room, and that was quite messy, so maybe I would not recommend that, but you just have to keep an eye on them and make sure they're not treading it on the carpet or anything like that. But she was pretty good, to be fair, and as long as you're watching them while they're playing with the Play-Doh, it's absolutely fine. I would recommend taking your normal day-to-day toddler bag with you. While you're on the boat, you're just sort of walking around, going to different activities, maybe lying by the pool, going to lunch. Like if you have your normal toddler bag, you can make sure you've got all the essentials that you need. So stuff for bum changes, stuff for cutlery for when you're eating, bibs, drinks, snacks, everything like that is all with you, and it just makes it so much easier because you know you've always got everything in that bag that your toddler could possibly need. A pushchair or stroller, I would definitely recommend taking one of those, even if your child likes to walk a lot like Rosalie does. It's just when you get off the ship, we chose to walk instead of getting taxis to places, and because we had the pushchair and the stroller, it meant we could do that. The stroller we took was the City Mini GT, just because it's Rosalie's normal pushchair that we use at home. It also lies back really flat, so she could go to sleep in it. It has a really big sunshade that goes right the way over, so you don't have to worry about putting another cover on top. It pretty much covers the whole of Rosalie while she's lying in there napping. A child carrier. Now this is a bit of a big, expensive purchase, but it was really just brilliant whilst we were on holiday. We went to Rome and also to Barcelona, and these are old cities with cobbled streets, and it just meant that we weren't sort of ramming a toddler over all the bumpy paths. Nick carried Rosalie on his back, and she was so happy in there, like especially in Rome, which was really crowded. There was lots of people everywhere. We went to the Colosseum. It was very hot. Lots of people really close by and quite noisy, but Rosalie was always close to Nick, and she was up high, so there wasn't loads of people sort of leering over her. She was up high, she could see everything, and she loved it in there, and she was really, really happy. And we're so glad that we've got this now, because obviously we can use it for our future adventures. I've done a full review of the child carrier. We took the cross-country child carrier with us when we went away, and I've done a full review on this, which I will link below. I would definitely recommend taking a look at that before you think of buying one. It is an expensive purchase, but it was really so worth it, and it made our cruise so much more enjoyable because we could do things with her. I would also recommend taking a few sippy cups away with you. If your toddler is anything like mine, you'll want one for water as well as one for milk. And I would also recommend taking another one spare. I would recommend taking some toddler cutlery with you. Rosalie uses a spoon and fork at home. We didn't actually take one, but we wished we had. Washing up liquid, I would definitely recommend taking this to rinse out your sippy cups, especially if your toddler still has milk and they've got milk in, because we had to throw one away because it went all gross and horrible. It rolled under the bed and we forgot about it for a day and it was just disgusting. So I would definitely recommend taking some washing up liquid if you go away, just so you can rinse the beakers out and then they're nice and clean. We took some bottled water away with us because obviously there was no weight limit. We could take as much, it didn't matter how much our cases weighed. So we took some bottles of like Evian bottled water with us. These were really handy for when we were out and about because we could just take a bottle of water out with us. Washing liquid, I would recommend taking some washing liquid and some stain remover with you. I took the Vanish spray with us as well, just so that I could, if Rosalie did get any of her clothes stained, I could put the stain removing treatment on it as soon as I took the clothes off her, and then I could also leave them to soak in the hand wash liquid in our little sink in our cabin, and this just meant that none of her clothes got ruined. I think if she'd have got some of her clothes did get some marks on, and if I had left them for the whole 2 weeks without treating them, they could have ruined her clothes, but because I treated them straight away, everything was fine and all the stains came out. There will be so much for your toddler to do on board the boat. They can play in the splash pool, they can go in the big pool, they can watch the movies in the open air cinema. They also had a little kids club when we were on board our boat, and they had an open play session every day. Whenever we were on our sailing days, so when we weren't able to get off the boat, we always made sure that we went to these sessions. It was wonderful for Rosalie, and I really think she has developed so much more from going to those sessions and playing with other children. She's looked after by her grandparents normally, so she doesn't go to nursery or anything like that, but it was like in a nursery environment, and but mummy and daddy were there with her, and she made some lovely friends, and it was just a really nice part of the day that we could go to with her, go and play with all the toys. And yeah, it was just, she had some lovely memories in the open play sessions on board the ship. My last tip would be to get into some kind of routine. It's not going to be like your routine at home, but we had a nice routine where we used to go back to the cabin at around 3 p.m. every afternoon, and we put Rosalie down for a nap. I'd stay in the cabin with her while Nick would go to the gym. She would normally sleep for a couple of hours, and then I'd start to get ready as she was still napping, and then she'd normally wake up sort of about 4:30. She'd have some playtime with Nick, and then we'd all get ready for dinner. So this worked really well for us. Like whatever we were doing in the morning, we always made sure we headed back to the cabin around 3 p.m. so she could have a nap, and this meant that in the evening she wasn't too tired for dinner, and we didn't have any meltdowns at the dinner table. Everything went really smoothly, and Rosie would then normally stay up till about 9 p.m. and then we'd sort of all go back to the cabin and go to bed. So there are tips for cruising with a toddler. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope if you're going on a cruise, it gives you some ideas of things to take and what you can expect whilst on your cruise. Please subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this video. Channel. Please subscribe. Say please subscribe. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you for watching. Bye. You can say bye. Bye. Meant that our holiday went really smoothly and we didn't have to worry about anything because we had it all with us. You're not having a smoothie. No. Smoothly, I said. Smoothly. Not smoothie. And I would also recommend taking another one just in case you lose it. So apple.